Hey everyone. So today we'll be first of all looking at some of the basics of PowerShell scripting. Now, what we are studying is Azure Data Factory, right? Now, people will ask me why do we learning this PowerShell scripting? Because in our project we will be leveraging the for each loop, like the conditional statement. So it's better to have some basics of a programming or a scripting language. So I am taking you through some of the programming concepts like for each loop, the string, what exactly the data types are, or the conditional statement with the help of PowerShell scripting. And those things will be leveraging in Azure Data Factory, those concepts, so that you would be able to correlate. If I will directly jump into the project and will explain this is how it is done, you won't be able to understand. So I want you to understand at least some of the fundamentals of any programming language, right? So whether it is PowerShell, whether it is Python, it would be same, but it is important to understand some fundamentals. Now let's understand about the scripting language. Now PowerShell is actually a scripting language commonly used for automating the management of system. Let's say uh, I want to automate something, right? Let's say I have a source folder is there on my laptop. I want to transfer all of the CSV files to a different folders, right? Based on certain conditions and all, right? So what I can do, I can take the help of this PowerShell scripting language. I can write some scripts, right? So everything in PowerShell is called an as an object. So everything in PowerShell is nothing but the object, right? Now let me first of all open the PowerShell. So how you can open a PowerShell on your system? You just search for PowerShell ISC, and you would be able to open it up. You just need to search on your system PowerShell ISC and you will be able to open up the PowerShell ISC. So let me open up PowerShell ISC. All right. So I've opened up this PowerShell ISC, that is integrated scripting environment. Now here you'll get two panes. This is called as the script pane, this white pane, and this blue screen is called as a terminal. So whatever you'll be writing, that gonna show you results in this blue pane. That's a terminal. So let's say I declare a simple variable $x equal to 2. I simply declare a variable. So variable starts in PowerShell, variable starts with X. It's just like in mathematics, you must have seen, right? To declare a number with a variable, right? It just like same only. In Python, the syntax is different actually in every programming language. Like in Python, we do not use this dollar. But over here, we use $x equal to 2, right? So we have stored a variable with X equal to 2. And if we want to print the result, we'll just put $x so that whatever value is there inside it will be given. So let's say I run it and you can see that in the terminal it is showing you 2, right? Now this is very important. Variable is nothing but you can see that it's actually storing an object. So everything in PowerShell is called as an object. So this is an object, right? Now similarly, let's say I want to store maybe a file name. Let's say I simply say that file 01 and I try to run it. So if you want to run it, select it and use this pane. This one is actually for running all the script, but this one is running that second part only. So let's say I run it. Now this is actually an error. Now PowerShell says, or any programming language says, if you are defining any object, I have certain types are there, which is also called as data types. Now, if you are providing this series of text or sequence of text, give me in the form of quotes, double quotes. So I'll write file 01, right? So this data type, if I'll try to run it, now I'll not get any error, right? Now, if I'll try to print $x, you would be able to see that it's coming file 01, right? Why? In PowerShell, we talked about on the right hand side, whatever you are storing, these are called as an object. So basically, everything is an object in PowerShell, and every object will have certain data types to attach to it. Data types of an object, data types like integer, string, right? Integer or string we talked about. So integer is what? We just saw that in the first example, we stored an integer value, which is nothing but a number, right? Integer is what? It's a number. It's just a number. And what is a string? String is actually nothing but the series of characters. Series of characters, right? But do remember, whenever you're getting series of characters, you need to enclose them with double quotes or single quotes as well. We can use double quotes, something like this. And if I try to print the value of variable $x, it will print, give me that $x equal to this one. Now, every object we talked about, this is the string, this is the, your String is there, this is an integer is there. There are certain other data types as well, like date time is there, like float value is there. Let's say I store a value 1.06. Now this is not an integer, this is actually a float value, right? In decimal actually called as. Now how do you check that I'm saying you that in PowerShell we call it as integer, or in fact in every programming language these are called as integer, string, and the different data types. Now, if you want to ask PowerShell, show me that it is an integer, I will use an inbuilt method called as get type. Get type. So always remember that methods ends with these two curly braces or curved brackets. These two are called as parentheses as well. Curved braces, right? Or parentheses as well. So I'll use this method called as get type just to display what is the data type of this object. So I'll just select it and run it. Now you'll be able to see it is integer. Now, similarly, let's say I want to check the data type of this particular file 01 as well. So I'll select both two lines and I'll run this part. And you can see that it's a string. Now I'll select this part and see what is a decimal in PowerShell called as. So I'll select it and let's say I run it and you would be able to see this is called as a double value, right? So there are different data types are there, right? So in PowerShell we call it as the data types, and in fact in any programming language, Python, C sharp, or you take any language, there would be a data type. So these are the journal data types that you'll be seeing. Now we talked about the journal, first of all the basic concepts of data types. So in the upcoming lecture I'll teach you more on the scripting side. So I hope this part is clear. Thank you everyone.